Today, being a traditional man often feels like carrying a target. The virtues that once built civilizations, strength, stoicism, ambition, and a desire to protect, are now frequently repackaged as toxic. Men are left wondering what their role is in a world that seems to have declared their traditional identity obsolete. Young men look for role models and find themselves navigating a treacherous landscape. On one side they see the heroes of the past, on the other, a chorus of voices calling those ideals dangerous illusions. How is a man to build a meaningful life under such contradictory pressures? The language around masculinity has become a minefield, with terms like toxic masculinity and patriarchy used so broadly they lose meaning. Instead of inviting conversation, these labels push men into a defensive corner, breeding resentment and alienation. A society that devalues its men is sawing off the branch on which it sits. We need men to be strong, competent, and honorable. But we cannot expect them to become these things if we constantly tell them their masculine spirit is the source of all the world's ills. We must find a better way forward, one that acknowledges darkness in everyone, but also celebrates the immense capacity for good within the masculine soul. The challenge is not to erase masculinity, but to channel it toward virtue. Only then can we build a society where men and women thrive together. To understand today's confusion, we must look at the history of feminism. The first wave fought for fundamental rights, voting, property, legal recognition. It was about equality before the law, not an attack on men. The second wave, in the 1960s and 70s, moved into cultural and social spheres, questioning traditional roles in the nuclear family. Here, the narrative shifted. Men were increasingly seen as beneficiaries of a patriarchal system. Later waves introduced intersectionality, placing the traditional male, especially if white and heterosexual, at the top of a privilege pyramid. Masculinity became not just an identity, but a position of power, often viewed as inherently oppressive. What began as a call for fairness morphed, in some forms, into suspicion of men and masculinity itself. The focus shifted from celebrating female strength to deconstructing male identity. It's one thing to argue for women's rights. It's another to claim traditional masculinity is the main obstacle. This sets up a zero-sum game, a battle between the sexes where one side's gain is the other's loss. Such thinking is dangerous and divisive. We must remember progress is not about tearing one group down to lift another up. True equality means dignity and respect for all. Only then can we move forward together. Toxic masculinity is one of the most damaging phrases in our modern vocabulary. It claims to target only negative extremes, aggression, repression, chauvinism, but in practice, it pathologizes essential virtues. Stoicism, once respected, is now often relabeled as emotional repression. Men are told they're unhealthy for not expressing feelings constantly, ignoring the value of emotional control. There's a difference between being in control and being unable to feel. This term confuses the two. Ambition and competitiveness, engines of progress, are recast as destructive lust for power. The desire to strive and build is not a sickness, it's a force for good when channeled well. Toxic masculinity provides a lazy shortcut for criticism, condemning a wide range of male behaviors without nuance. Instead of calling out individual bad actions, it blames maleness itself. This casts suspicion over all men, which is both intellectually lazy and socially corrosive. We must abandon such imprecise language, critique the behavior, not the identity. Healthy masculinity is not the enemy. We need clarity, not confusion. Only then can we have honest conversations about what truly needs to change. The confusion over male roles has spilled into dating and relationships, creating chaos and misunderstanding. Men may act honorably, leading, providing, being decisive, yet find these actions labeled as controlling or outdated. This disconnect leaves both men and women frustrated. Relationship experts like Dr. John Gottman highlight the importance of mutual respect and understanding differences. When society promotes suspicion between the sexes, it undermines trust. Men are told to be vulnerable, but fear it will be used against them. Women may desire sensitivity, yet still feel drawn to traditional masculine traits. The result, dating becomes a minefield. Long-term relationships fraught with power struggles. Men may withdraw or become resentful, feeling the rules are always changing. Neither outcome builds stable, loving partnerships. We need clarity and empathy to restore trust between men and women. Media's portrayal of men has become a distorted hall of mirrors. Once, figures like Atticus Finch modeled integrity and courage, complex, admirable, and fundamentally good. Today, traditional men are often shown as bumbling fools or secret villains. The strong, silent type is now seen as emotionally stunted, the confident leader as a tyrant. This relentless negativity sends a message. Traditional masculinity is something to overcome, not aspire to. The result is a vacuum of positive role models. Young men see their instincts mocked and their archetypes vilified. They're told to be less masculine, more passive, compliant, and less ambitious. This robs men of a positive vision for their identity. Nature abhors a vacuum. If culture won't provide healthy models, men will seek them elsewhere. They may turn to the internet, or fringe figures who speak to their alienation regardless of flaws. The failure to portray men in a balanced light is not just artistic, it's a profound social failing. We need to restore positive, aspirational models of masculinity. The rise of figures like Andrew Tate is no accident, it's a symptom of the cultural vacuum. When young men feel ignored and criticized, they become receptive to anyone who acknowledges their struggle. Tate, despite his flaws, offered a simple map: get strong, get rich, be unapologetically masculine. To a young man adrift, this can sound like a lifeline. Mainstream culture's response, deplatforming and condemnation, doesn't address the root problem. Banning voices doesn't erase the alienation that made them popular, it drives it underground. The only real solution is to offer a better, more noble vision of masculinity. Culture must address men's legitimate concerns and provide positive role models. Until then, figures like Tate will keep emerging. The answer is not censorship, but a compelling alternative. The result of this cultural shift is deep alienation among men. They feel like strangers in their own land, told their instincts to provide and protect are suspect. This isn't just about being politically incorrect, it's an existential crisis. Alienation leads to real-world consequences: rising male suicide, educational dropouts, and a failure to launch. When men lack purpose, they retreat into video games, pornography, and apathy. This isn't laziness, it's a rational response to a hostile environment. If every attempt at strength is labeled toxic, why try? Labeling all traditional men as oppressors risks creating the very monsters it fears. When good men are met only with scorn, some may embrace the caricature. This is how alienation turns into anger, and anger breeds instability. The way forward isn't to abandon masculinity, but to rediscover a healthy version of it. We must rebuild the bridge between men and women, founded on mutual respect. This means moving beyond destructive language and having honest, nuanced discussions about roles and responsibilities. Healthy masculinity integrates strength with compassion, ambition with service. It's the courage to speak truth, take responsibility, and protect the vulnerable. This is the ideal we should hold up for our sons, a vision that is both powerful and good. Men must embody this ideal, rejecting both passivity and toxic bravado. Women, too, play a crucial role by appreciating the positive aspects of traditional masculinity. Without mutual recognition, no true partnership is possible. We need conversations, not proclamations, spaces for honest dialogue, not judgment. Empathy must replace ideology. A society that values healthy masculinity is stronger and more prosperous for everyone. Only then can both men and women truly flourish. We stand at a crossroads. The path of gender-based warfare leads only to more division and chaos. The constant critique of masculinity hasn't created harmony, it's fractured us. The alternative is reconciliation, courage to see individuals, humility to admit our maps are incomplete, and respect for our differences. We must stop seeing masculinity as a problem, and start cultivating its potential for good. This isn't about returning to the past, but moving forward with wisdom. A healthy society needs both strong men and strong women, two wings of the same bird. The responsibility for change lies with each of us in our daily lives and communities. It begins with honest, respectful conversation, and a choice to seek understanding. The future depends on the choices we make today. Will you help build the bridge, or keep throwing stones from the shore?